the block, it's out, and Purdue will take it.
Colvin on the slide. What a better way to end this one on senior night.
Spectacular crowd inside Mackey Arena. Colvin puts an end to the first set.
How sweet it is! The Purdue Boilermakers punch their ticket to the Sweet 16.
Is down. History for Dave Shondell. The all-time wins leader.
Welcome back to the Dig City Podcast, Season 7, Episode 1. I'm Corey Palm, he's Dave Shondell, and we are brought to you by Franciscan Health, the official health providers of Purdue Athletics. Dave, great to be back.
It is. It's nice to be back, and we certainly thank Franciscan for their continued support and all they do for Purdue and all they do for the people in our community.
Great organization, much like Purdue Volleyball, as it turns out. A lot of success over a lot of years. How's your summer? We gotta. He sent me a laundry list of things to talk about today. It took up 2 pages on my notes app, but we're gonna start with how's your summer been?
Yeah, none of that's true, but certainly had a good summer. Weather-wise, it started a little slow, I thought, and was pretty busy with recruiting up through parts of June and then camps and everything. But our camp season was great.
Yeah.
Our staff just did a tremendous job. We had great numbers showing up. I felt good about every aspect of it. We have incredible facilities here at Purdue to conduct those camps. When we actually used 4 courts from next door at Westside High School, we had 32 courts that we were using, and we needed all of them for our team camp. So a great season there. I got a chance to spend some time with our grandkids. A couple of them were in this weekend, and that's always fun. Got up fishing in Canada with a good friend Darren Ashcraft, and we slayed them up there. The smallmouth, The smallmouth were in trouble up at Lake Gamble, and so we had a great time. But it's been a good summer. But I've been really focused and motivated for what's about to come with this team. We've got a lot of new people, and we'll talk about that later on. But the first 5 or 6 practices have been very encouraging.
That's good. We'd love to hear that, and we will get into that throughout the course of the show. Before we get too far away from camp, fishing, I'm super jealous of that. Love that. One thing I love about camp, other than seeing wall-to-wall courts in Lambert Fieldhouse, is how many alums come back as coaches or as club coaches or, to help out at the camp. You get all sorts of former volleyball players coming back, Boilermakers for life, who just, love this place and love this program. And
more and more of those coming back as parents of campers, which makes an indication of something.
Yeah,
okay.
We're not going to say that.
No, it's always great to see them and try to get to spend time with them when they do come back. But during our little kids camp, we probably had about 8 or 9 of former players that were here with their kids, and another 3 or 4 that were working the camp. So that was a lot of fun for all of them. But we have a great legacy here. And we're proud of that, and we want all of our alumni to feel like they can come back and continue to be a big part of what we're doing.
Definitely. So important to have that culture and continue to build it, no matter how long,
Well, and just real quick, and we talked a little bit off the air, what I saw on Saturday in Mackey Arena with what Gene Cady, Matt Painter, and tons of other people have made happen, that Alumni Day event was something to behold. I really feel like of all the things I've seen in 23 years at Purdue, that was in the top 5. Just to see the amount of people who returned, how many of them actually put on the sneakers and try to get out there and play, to see Gene Cady at 89 years old get another well-deserved standing ovation and be able to appreciate it and give the thumbs up to people, and then watch Hummel rip the cords for 35. But it was, and I didn't see the whole thing. We were in between practices, and I had a few things going on, but I did get down for the introductions and watched about 10 minutes of it, and it just says something about when things are done the right way, people appreciate it, and what a fan base that our men's basketball program has right now.
Yeah, no doubt about that. It's so cool to see former players, and especially in this transfer era. We're pretty deep into the transfer era, and there's plenty of transfers into and out of.
And even to see some come back and be here and play. It just says, okay, there was a reason why they left, and it may have been in the best interest of both organizations and whatever, but they still love the fact they can come back to Purdue.
Well, like you've long said and long known, the relationship doesn't end on graduation day. It continues for life.
Yeah.
It continues before they step on campus, all the way until
True.
Until nobody's associated with the program anymore, and it's so special, and Purdue is such a special place in that regard. I mean, there's so many places we can jump off to. You've already mentioned that you guys are 4 or 5 practices, 5 or 6 practices in to the season. That's largely because of an accelerated start day this time around. We haven't really had a chance to talk about that because we've been going our separate ways the last couple of months. But when the NCAA moved that up to July 31st, what did that mean for you guys?
Well, first of all, they moved it up because they had moved it up for 8 teams who are going to play on what they call week 0 on some televised events to try to build some interest and momentum for volleyball, which is a great idea, but they were allowing all those teams to start a week early. Well, personally, I felt like they're already getting a significant advantage by playing on national TV. Why should they get 7 extra days of practice or 6 extra days that the rest of us don't have when our season starts very quickly? And so some coaches, went to the AVCA, went to the NCAA, and we either wanted to move back to everybody start at the same time, compromise it, or let us all start on the 31st of July. And they went that direction. No team in America needed it more than us. With new players, high expectations, but new players, opportunities to get in and really train and make a difference. So I was very, very happy with that news.
That's good. And you talk about the new players. You've got just
plethora
of fresh faces. And I was walking through practice the other day, and I didn't recognize many, but I liked what I was seeing.
Yeah.
Lots of energy, lots of instruction going on, and that's so much about what the first week is, right?
Yeah, and our fans saw some of those players. They saw the 5 transfers were on campus. One of them did not play during the spring because of surgery. And then we have 5 freshmen, 2 of which were here, and then 3 new ones. But yeah, we're just trying to we try to identify things that we saw in the spring and kind of assumed what we would be like starting this fall that we need to prioritize. And for example, first ball contact. We lost almost all of our first ball contact. That means receiving serve for me right now. So we have to get much, much better. I think we're going to be fine. I mean, I really do. I know that in a couple of players were really, really good, good serve receivers. But we got to develop some other things. We have to find some people that can terminate the ball. And what that means in our sport is kill the ball, put the ball away. When the ball's set to you, finish the deal. You lose a Raven Colvin and you lose the 2 outside hitters that we had that were both hit the ball with pace and power and angles and had experience. So we've got to make sure that we've got that in store. If you can't terminate the ball, you can't win. So that was the second thing. Third thing was playmakers. Allie Horning was a playmaker. Chloe was a playmaker, in my opinion. So we have to create that, generate that. And a lot of that's mentality. That's belief, confidence, assertiveness, obviously skill, speed, those kind of things. But we have that. And so a lot of the drills that we're setting up now are designed to encourage those 3 skills. And the fourth thing that we talked about was just cohesion. When you've got 10 new players out of 18 and 1 that didn't play last year of those 8, then you've got to figure out how to play together and how to operate together on and off the floor. That's been a real highlight. This group loves each other. They're getting along great. They come in with great attitudes. They're working their tails off. So the things that we identify, but we feel like we're making solid progress on, and so then you start saying, okay, now let me add this. Let me add this. So now my priority is specifically our 4 outside hitters have to be great passers. They have to be, because they're going to get served every ball. They're not going to serve the backcourt and the libero athletes that are passing at a high level right now. They're going to go at our people that have a little less experience back there, so they have to get better. Identify the fact our setters have got to become more accurate with their setting. We got 3 high-profile setters with great resumes. But they got to get in the gym and get extra reps. So, again, starting early, big help for us because now we can get those reps.
Love it. Get that cohesion, build some of that. We will go in depth on the roster in the second half of today's show after the commercial break. But first, let's talk about a few, for the last 3 or 4 years, the official kickoff, as far as we're concerned, for fall volleyball season is Big Ten Media Days. And that happened again this year up in Chicago. You were up there a little over a week ago. About a week ago.
Exactly a week.
Just that experience continues to be fantastic and a great chance for some of the student athletes to go up and get a really cool experience.
Well, the people at the Big Ten Network spearheaded that. They felt like it was going to be in everybody's best interest, not just women's volleyball, not Big Ten volleyball, but in the interest of Big Ten, to get our women's volleyball people in front of cameras and build on the incredible coverage and the incredible viewership that we have on the Big Ten Network. And it's been better than they thought. And they do a first-class job with it. And as you know, this year we took Kenna Woolard and Taylor Anderson up there, and I thought they did a tremendous job. They brought energy, they brought positivity, but yet they also were able to deliver the message for every question. So I thought they did a tremendous job.
That's good. You always, I don't know, nervous isn't the right word, but a little bit unsure of how that's going to go for people who, maybe haven't faced a lot of bright lights.
They haven't been in front of the camera a lot, and that live interview with Rick Pizzo, who's one of my favorite guys on TV, and the preparation he does to interview 18 coaches in 2 days and so forth, did a great job. And then the people that they had interviewing the athletes also, everything they do is wonderful. And you're just jumping from one station to another station while you're up there, and then they have a tremendous meal on Monday night at a beautiful downtown venue. So it's great, and we're glad we went, and we're thankful for what they do.
Moving away from Media Day, some more news that sort of broke since the last time we talked. We got together back in the spring, but spring wrapped up, and the schedule wasn't quite finalized yet at that time. In the interim, we have the full schedule for the season, but specifically the preseason, the non-conference schedule is it's a really fun slate.
I think it is. I think it's one that our fans will appreciate because the furthest they have to drive is Nashville.
And who doesn't want to go there?
To see us play, right on Broadway. Yeah. We're going to be right there. They can stop into, is it Tootsie's or whatever
Tootsie's,
it is?
And
then go across the street, and they'll be right there at Bridgestone Arena watching some Big Ten teams battle some SEC opponents. So it's a great event. I think they're going to have great crowds, and it'll be a very festival environment while we're there. But we'll actually open up at the University of Tennessee, and we play South Florida there on a Friday. That's the opening day of the season, and that's when we play. And South Florida was in the NCAA tournament a year ago, so they will not be anybody's patsy. And then 2 days later, we're in Nashville playing Tennessee, who I think is picked fourth or fifth, I believe, in the maybe fifth in the SEC. Behind, I think, that's Texas, Kentucky, A&M, and Florida, I think, are the top four there. But they'll be a really tough opponent for us, even though it won't be at Tennessee. It will be in Tennessee. Then we get back home, and we have names like Kansas and Georgia Tech, who have been traditional, top 16 level, top 20 level teams, and then Bowling Green, who's been one of the premier teams of the Mid-American Conference. Those matches will all be at home that first weekend, the first week of August, on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We got Butler's Bulldogs in there as well. That maybe the following week on a Tuesday.
Yep.
We go to Hinkle Fieldhouse
Awesome.
and play the Bulldogs, who are a quickly developing team from Indianapolis, and then we go to Lexington, Kentucky, and we'll play both Houston and SMU. SMU is really, really good. They'll compete for the top in the ACC. They've got a bunch of transfers in, highly rated transfers, and we also play Houston there. And then we finish the season up by going to Ball State, playing Worthen Arena, beautiful facility on the Muncie campus, on a Friday. And then I think on a Sunday we've got IU Indy. And I have a hard time figuring out how to say that, but I did it. I think I did it right.
You did it right
IU
that time.
Indy.
Yep.
We play them on a Sunday, and then we get into Big Ten play.
Yeah. Open with.
But so many at home. You got
Right.
4 at home. You've got 2 in Indiana, 1 in Muncie, 1 in Indianapolis, and then you've got Nashville and I don't know,
And Lexington. Yeah.
and Lexington.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you said, they're all regional road trips, easy drives.
All will be really good matches.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think there's a cupcake in the group. People have to recognize that IU Indy was good last year. The coach in his second season there did a really, really good job, and they'll be better this season. So we're looking forward to it.
Getting that Houston SMU, those 2 matches in Lexington, when was the decision made to move away from winners face off on day 2 in that quad?
Great question, Corey. Craig Skinner is a close friend of mine. He's a Ball State guy, Muncie, Indiana, born and raised, and same age as my brother John. And they grew up together and kind of did all the same things. So I know Craig well, respect Craig. And he called me in late, maybe early January, and I was in Florida, and trying to assemble this roster after we had some fallout. And one of those was fallout of 2 players going to Kentucky.
Right.
And so Craig called up and kind of sheepishly said, I apologize for not calling you sooner. I just didn't know what to tell you. And I said, Craig, I said our relationship is way too good.
Yeah.
Okay, for you to be concerned about calling me. I said I don't think there's any shenanigans going on in what happened here. And if one of the best players in the country showed up, somebody that I would have recruited hard, and they have some interest in my program, I'd be all over them. Okay, so that's the way it is. And he suggested, well, maybe we don't play each other in this tournament. Maybe we just shape it, and our region plays the 2 Texas teams and do it that way. I said, whatever you want to do. Now, to be honest with you, the closer that we've gotten to this season, I've kind of felt like, it wouldn't be a bad idea to play against Kentucky. But I think it's fine as it is, and I have great respect for Coach Craig Skinner, and look forward to playing in Lexington. They got a beautiful facility down there now. They've done a lot of renovation there, so it'll be a good tournament. I mean, Houston and SMU are going to be plenty of good competition for us. Trust me.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's not like you're trading out Kentucky for Southeast Technical State. You're getting 2 high
Two really
quality.
good teams. Just what we need. Yeah.
The last thing that really I love is playing South Florida in Knoxville. Obviously you're going to be in Tennessee for the Bridgestone Block Party.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
We had to find a second match. We just couldn't play one match,
Right.
and they wanted to play that on a Sunday, that event on a Sunday. So we felt like in our best interest, could we find someone to come to Purdue on a Friday? Well, everybody's got their own tournaments they're playing on Friday, so they can't single that out. But South Florida had talked with Tennessee, and they agreed. They're actually going to play 2 matches on one day. South Florida's going to play us at noon. I think it's at noon. And then they're going to play Tennessee maybe at 6 or 7 o'clock. And so it'll be a tough day for South Florida having to play 2. But both Tennessee and us will play on Friday, have a day off, and then play each other on that Sunday.
That's awesome. That's great for South Florida because they need to push themselves if they want to be.
And credit to their coach.
Yeah.
I mean, she's challenging themselves big time by number one playing 2 matches, but also playing 2 teams that I think were in the top 25 a year ago.
That's fantastic. Amazing venues you're getting to play. Especially when we roll in the Big Ten season. Bridgestone Arena, Hinkle Fieldhouse,
Worthen Arena. Holloway Gym,
Mackey Arena. You got a game at Gamebridge Fieldhouse later this season.
Pauley Pavilion,
goodness.
Galen Center at USC.
Yep.
Not to mention, does Nebraska come up to us, or do we go to them? I should know that.
They come here. They come here October 12th. Get your tickets now.
Yeah, that's right. No, looking forward to the season. I don't know where. Michigan and Michigan State both play some of their matches in their big basketball venues, but they play some others in the smaller confines. So I'm not sure where those matches are slated for.
Well, it's going to be an exciting season just from that aspect, and historic in a lot of ways. So can't wait. Yeah. Can't wait.
But we do make the trip out to Southern California.
Yes.
And we'll play UCLA on a Thursday and the Trojans on a Saturday. And so we got that day in between, which is nice to have that time, especially if you're on the road.
Man, that road trip, I would imagine, is leaving on Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning,
right.
maybe.
I think that we like to get out there 2 days.
Okay.
So sometime Tuesday we'll leave.
Wow. Can't get here soon enough.
We're fired up. I can promise you that, and we have a lot of work to do. Nobody has more to get done, but we're off to a fast start.
Well, let's talk about that roster when we come back after this short timeout. The Dig City podcast is brought to you by Franciscan Health, the exclusive healthcare provider for Purdue Athletics. Franciscan, inspiring health, working for a better tomorrow. Go to franciscanhealth.org for more information. Now back to the show. A little over 3 weeks away from opening night for the Boilermakers. Coach, 5 or 6 practices in, and you guys are going strong. You guys are going hard. 1, sometimes 2 practices a day right now with lifts and meetings and film and all sorts of things that are keeping you up. Let's go through that team. We'll start with the players that are familiar to all of us fans, the 8 returners.
Yeah, we've got some starting experience returning. You've got Taylor Anderson, who has been your starter in the quarterback position as a setter for the past 2 seasons, and she continues to develop and grow and get stronger. But we need a giant leap from her. Purdue term. Yep. We need a giant leap
on brand
from her, and she has matured a lot, and she recognizes some of her deficiencies and understands what she has to do. Now it's a matter of doing it. Mm-hmm. It's one thing to know, I've got to do this better, and I've got to be a stronger leader, and I've got to compete and some of those things. Now go do it, okay? And that's our job to help with that. But we will be pushing her towards that. But it's nice to have a veteran setter, leading the way, and then you've got Grace Heaney. And Grace is the player that was not available a year ago because she had some surgery during the previous summer. But she has been a bright spot, both in the spring and now into the fall season. She's turning into be everything that we had hoped that she would be. She's got great shots. She's very crafty, hitting the ball much harder. She gets off the floor fast. She's a natural blocker, which you think as a right side player that would come with the territory, but it doesn't. But she's a really, really good blocker. In the backcourt is where you find several of your returners. You've got Julia Kane, who played libero all summer or spring for us and did a great job. I thought grew a tremendous amount. Ryan McAleer, who played a DS and played in every match a year ago. Returns, although she didn't play in the spring because she had an injury, but looks 100% right now. You have Rachel Williams, who may be the most improved player in our program, and will be very hard to keep her off the floor in some capacity this fall. And then you've got Sienna Foster, who is also another very improved player. Redshirted a year ago as a freshman, but now is starting to look like the player that has some of her dad's genes, that wants to compete and ride bulls and everything else. So, and then you have Kenna Woolard, who returns as maybe our most complete player, who's played right side for 2 seasons and now goes back to the land that she loves, and that's on the left side, where she is much more natural and much more confident. And we've got to try to turn her into a 6-rotation player where she never leaves the floor and can pass and defend and serve and block and hit and bring a lot of confidence to the team. So I may have forgotten somebody, but I hope not. Did I?
The only person
Allie,
is,
my niece,
Allie Shondell.
Allie,
yeah.
Yeah, Allie in the setting department, who's knocking on the door. And I told all 3 setters today, I said, no team in America has a setting core like we do. I mean, this group is really, really talented, really, really good, great accolades coming in. Their resumes are off the chart. If they come into these practices and act like they don't have a chance to run the show on this team, they're making a big mistake because I think all are capable. And Allie does some things better than the other 2. Taylor does some things better than the 2, and then we'll talk about Isabel. She does some things better than the other 2. So our setters have to change their attitudes. Okay, that's the one thing. They have to compete. They have to fight. They have to battle. They have to have a voice louder than what we're getting right now. So, but those are the 8 that return for us, and And I didn't forget Allie because I thought I did, but then I remembered before you had to tell me. Yeah.
All right, eight returners, 10 newcomers. That's 5 rookies and 5 transfers.
Right.
We'll start with the 5 transfers. The ones with some college experience, just not necessarily Purdue experience.
But serious experience.
Serious experience.
In big leagues.
Right.
Let's start with the tallest, and that's Bianca Lulich. And Bianca is from San Diego, but she played at Miami of Florida, redshirted her first year, started most of the season a year ago, but would kind of float in and out of the lineup. And as I've talked to Bianca about, the reason you floated in and out of the lineup is you didn't get enough done. And, you look the part, and you have the skills, but you've got to make positive things happen when you're on the floor. And now we're seeing that. She went back to Croatia. I don't know if she was born in Croatia or mom and dad were, but she has got that descent. And so she went back and trained with their under 23 team, I think it was, over there, and played in some competition. And I thought she came back a different person, just hitting the ball harder, much more confident individual. So she's a middle hitter, again, as I mentioned, almost 6'6", and brings a lot of energy and a lot of personality. Our fans are going to love her. And then we have Lindsay Miller, who's about 6'3½", started her career at Notre Dame, also from San Diego, California, played 2 years at Notre Dame, led them in hitting both years, went to USC, played as a junior, and had a good solid year as a junior in the middle in the Pac, at that point in time in the Pac-12, and then sat out last year as a redshirt because she had some academic, not difficulties, but conflicts where those professors wanted her in class, and she had to take those classes, and they were at the wrong time to be able to compete for her team. So fortunately for us, she didn't play and then decided, you know what, I'm out, and graduated from USC, and now she's playing for us, and she will be a pivotal player for us. Very cerebral individual, quick off 1 foot behind the setter, great experience, great competitor. Then we have Akasha Anderson. I call her just Cash Money. And Akasha is from Michigan State, but she started at Auburn, grew up in Virginia. Big personality, great competitor, and had off-season surgery, but she's come back very, very quickly from that, getting herself in really good physical condition, brings a lot of what we need. Now, is she going to be able to beat out some players in the left side or right side position to get on the floor on a regular basis? That remains to be seen.
Right.
But what she brings to our team, I want on the floor, because she's a player that has that intensity and that dog in her. And so, but she's almost 6'3", hits the ball hard, needs to keep hitting the ball higher. Decent ball control player, better defender right now than she is passer, but those things are something we need to address and continue to work on. So that's 3 new players.
Yep.
Then we've got, give me just a second here. Oh, we got Natalie Moravec, who started her career at BYU, where she redshirt. This is going to be a long show. And then was at Iowa. And when she went on the portal at Iowa, it was a day after the portal closed. Oh. And so last year, she had no place to play because eligibility-wise, she couldn't play in a Division I school. Iowa was not going to allow her to come back after she went on the portal. So she went over to China, and she trained over there at a club that her mother was familiar with. Her mother was a former great volleyball player, and trained there for a little bit. And then we got her to Purdue when she was here this spring, and just did a terrific job there. And why I'm forgetting. Who's our 5th player?
Dior Charles.
Oh, Dior Charles,
Yep.
yeah. Dior has played at Wake Forest. She's out of L.A., and physical brute of a player. And did not play either. She did not play this spring. So we had another player that didn't get an opportunity to play during the spring because she had surgery. But she's come back strong. She's a really good athlete, no-nonsense player. She's not Raven Colvin. We'll never have another Raven Colvin. I'm not sure you'll ever see anybody that has that kind of springs and that look on her face all the time. But Dior Charles is the closest thing I've ever had to that. And Dior jumps well. She's our best jumper. She's a great natural blocker. She hits the ball hard. A good competitor. She brings a lot of the things that our team needs to have. So that's our 5 transfers. Again, apologize to Dior. hard to believe you can forget somebody like that, because she was one of the first people we went after when we got on that portal.
She can take it out on the volleyballs at practice next time.
Yeah.
She was one, number 9, that
Yes.
really stood out to me. Her physicality is
Again, like Raven, she's not huge.
Yeah.
She's 6 foot half inch, but long arms,
Powerful.
long hands, but just has as good of a feel for blocking as anybody that I've coached here at Purdue in the middle.
That's saying
Just
something.
recognizes she's quick, and she's not going to play as high as some people in America, but she's going to get there quicker than most of them.
All right, now the rookies coming in.
Okay, 2 were here for the fall. Addie Tyndall, and Addie is about 6'3", high-profile recruit. I think she was a top 20 recruit in about every publication that you can find in the sport of volleyball. Great blocker, good offensive player. Has played a little bit of 6 rotations, so she's knows how to pass, knows how to defend, just has to get better, like all of our outside hitters do in those areas. But has a great feel for the game, and is a workhorse. I've mentioned this to other people, that nobody's been in the gym more than her since she got here. And that's the kind of leadership that you're looking for. That's the kind of commitment that you need. Also back from a year ago that came in early, was Morgan Williams. Morgan Williams is from, actually Addie Tyndall's from Homestead High School over near Fort Wayne. Morgan is from Enterprise, Alabama, but I think since their family has moved to Atlanta, if I'm correct about that transition. She's a middle that very few people in America knew about. Southern Alabama is not necessarily a hotbed, but yet that's where Catherine Rubarczyk played, and that's also where Blake Moeller played, even though she was from Ocean Springs, Mississippi.
Yep.
The club she was at was in Mobile. But we got another one from down there, and great athlete, great kid, hard worker, and not nearly as far behind as we thought she might be when we got her here. And so really, I want to say this about our freshman class. I don't really care where anybody ranks them.
Yeah.
We got 5 people that can be great. I told them that today at practice. We have 5 freshmen that can be great at this game. I mean, high-level Big Ten players. So that one of the reasons I'm really excited about this team is that those 5 freshmen, and they're figuring it out. What you need to do to be focused and get things done the way they need to be done. But Morgan is a middle blocker, better blocker right now than hitter. Working on her arm swing, trying to speed it up, trying to figure things out. But big jump from Enterprise to the Big Ten. Because I never heard of I've heard of Enterprise rental car, but I never heard of Enterprise Alabama. Her stepfather played football here at Purdue, and that kind of helped that deal. Then the 3 players that have come in, Maddie Cassell is from near Sarasota, Florida. And she's got great connections. Her grandfather went to Purdue. Mom spent some time growing up in this area. So she always had this desire to go to Purdue, and was the top-ranked libero in the state of Florida. And, it's hard to evaluate liberos. You don't know what you're getting until they come in and get in your gym and start playing at the pace that this game's played at in the Big Ten. But she's legit. She's legit. She's physical. She's fast. She plays hard. She's zoned in. She's going to be really, really a good one. So we're glad we got her. There'll be a lot of competition for those spots. I think we got five backcourt players this year, and she's one of them, and has the most to learn as far as how the game is played at the college level. Then we have 2 others that have come in, and one is Isabel Barden, who is from Washington, D.C., 6'2.5" setter that plays like she's 6'4". I mean, she just plays big, and has great confidence in herself. Totally believes in what she's doing out there. Delivers the ball well. Not a bad defender. Really good blocker. And so I talked about the setting core we got, and she was totally undervalued. Matter of fact, she was late to commit. When everybody was committing before their junior year, she waited until after her junior year was about over.
Okay.
Before she committed, and we were fortunate because we were not on her before, but we got on her the second time. Kat Jewell saw her playing out in a tournament. I think might have been in Philadelphia. I can't remember where she saw her. It might have been in D.C. but opened her eyes up, and we got on her, and we're fortunate to get her to come to Purdue. But she's got some big things in the future for her, in my opinion. And then our last one is another Rachel Williams. We have two Rachel Williams, probably the only Division I volleyball team in America with two Rachel Williams
I would imagine.
On the team. But this Rachel Williams is freaky fast. She's 6'3", slender but quick with her feet, quick with her arm, smiles all the time. She's actually from New Jersey. And what's the name of the town? Bloomfield. I always forget it. Bloomfield, New Jersey. Was originally committed to go somewhere else. Last second, her club coach calls me up and says, I got somebody that can make you better. And she was originally supposed to go here, but now she's not. And I said, okay, we'll get out and look at her. For the next 2 weekends, our staff was out there watching her play in tournaments on the East Coast. And we believed that she could play. And then she got here, and athletically, she's better than advertised. Really fast arm. Really wonderful human being.
She a lefty?
She's a right-hander,
Okay.
but she gets on the ball super fast. And, again, with freshmen, it's a big jump. It's a big leap. And, how long it takes for them to get to where they're going to be able to help us. And you've got 18 people on your roster. Now, you can redshirt any of them if they haven't redshirted before. They don't have to be freshmen to redshirt them. It just has to make sense for somebody to be redshirted. So, we'll see how it goes. We're going to wait. That, again, a longer preseason with this extra week we got gives us a much better idea to determine what makes most sense for us to do that. There's no way in the world you can play 18 players.
Right, for sure.
So you're wasting somebody's years if you do that. And, you want to get the most out of the opportunities you have to play here. So we'll see with all these players, whether they're freshmen, sophomores, juniors, or even a senior, if it makes sense. And, you might have somebody that loves Purdue so much they want to be here as long as they can.
Well, and with some of a lot of times if you have a lot of transfers, they're, more in the latter stages of their academic careers. That's not necessarily the case here. You've had some non-traditional transfers who are coming in with sophomore eligibility or even junior eligibility.
And that's something else that I think we hit home runs with, was that sometimes when you get these transfers, they're one-year kids. A lot of that was the COVID deal, okay?
True, yeah.
We've got two big-time players that transferred in that are sophomores. They got 3 more years left of eligibility. You got Dior Charles has got 2 more years of eligibility, and then you did get 2 seniors in Cash Anderson and Lindsay Miller. But the other 3, and the the 2 I didn't mention, obviously Bianca Lulich and Natalie Moravec. They're going to be big names here before they get out of here.
A lot to be determined still, and I some seasons you go in, you know what your rotations look like. Some seasons you don't, and they have to figure it out on the court as much as y'all figure out in the strategy sessions.
Yeah, and one thing we're doing, Corey, is you'd think with all this new stuff and we got 2 seniors, not a lot of juniors, but a lot of freshmen and sophomores. Okay. You'd think that, man, let's spend time working on fundamentals and getting, breaking things down. We're doing some of that in the morning. Okay, that's what our mornings are at.
Yeah.
We get in the afternoon. We got to learn how to play together. We got to understand our systems. What are we doing defensively? How are we blocking the right side? How are we blocking left side? What are we doing against middles when they run a B and a 9 or a B and a 4? What are we doing to help each other play well together? So we're doing a lot of 6-on-6 right out of the gate. And I think by the time we get ready, our goal is when we get ready to play South Florida, we're going to be as prepared as any team in the country to play volleyball.
It's such a fast game, and you got to pick it up as quickly as you can to stay above board. I've been at a lot of football practices already this fall, and their roster's one of the newest in the country. They've got
I think it is the
80-something new guys, and something that strikes me about their approach and something that strikes me now about your approach, and it's going to be across the board in college athletics, really. It seems to me coaching has never been more important. When you don't know necessarily from year to year what your roster is going to look like, you have to believe in what you're doing and to be able to communicate that to your players as cohesively and as quickly as possible.
Very fair point. Very good observation. I made it really clear with our coaching staff that our coaching is going to be more important this year than any year I can remember. okay, because we have 18 players, for one thing. We've got a lot of players, a lot of training to do, a lot of relationships to build with 10 new players. Just everything you can imagine that you get into coaching for, you got to pour it into these guys this year. And, funny, one of the things I told them the other day, and this is just an honest statement, I'm going to be totally transparent with them, I'm always transparent with you, is that I'm tired of playing people because I feel like I have to, whether it's because they're going to get mad and pout, whether they're going to leave, whether it be, whatever it might be. I said, I'm done doing that, okay? If you're not going to come in here and play hard, and you're not going to compete, and you're not going to provide the leadership and be vocal and do everything you can to make us better, you're not going to play. I mean, I've been here too long, okay, to sit back and let somebody else dictate who's going to play.
Right.
And they all responded beautifully to that.
Good.
Okay. I mean, but sometimes you feel like you're playing people because, God, you don't want them to leave. Well, what I found out was when people leave, there's people who want to come here.
Yeah, that's true.
And eventually our fans will find out what these transfers are like, what these incoming freshmen are like. But just as importantly is these 8 players that were here with us last year. And, when things started to get a little bit unsteady, they all could have gone. That's what happened in some places, but they didn't. They stayed true to the cause. And one thing our fans are going to see, and you saw it if you were at practice, on the back of the T-shirts and on our everything that we have that we wear, you're going to see ever grateful, because I want our fans to know our people are grateful for what they have here. There are very few volleyball programs in America that have been provided what we have by their university, from both a budget standpoint, from playing venues, to the support that we get from the fans at the university, in the community, in the state. And so we don't want anybody to be confused about how grateful we are and how thankful we are for what we've got here. But what are we going to do about it? That's the other message that is. The reason they wear that is we're going to do something about it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go out and represent this university and do everything we can. And I said, why do we need to have a bunch of rules? There's some teams that spend hours going over rules. Okay, ever grateful. That's all you need to know. Okay, play like you're ever grateful. Make decisions like you're ever grateful, and you won't have to make a lot of hard decisions.
Covers a lot of ground.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait to see it. First chance to see the Boilermakers. Correct me if I'm wrong here. You've got an exhibition against Valparaiso.
Valparaiso comes
August
in
15th.
here. They come here, and it will be a regular match, 3 out of 5 match. We're going to have, I think, an open scrimmage maybe the week before that. We'll get information out on that. Boiler Gold Rush will have a huge throng in for, I think, another scrimmage, but that will be just for the arriving freshmen that are here for that big event. But those will be opportunities before the season starts, and then we're on the road for 2 before we get back home with what will be, Kansas and Georgia Tech. Wow. Those are going to be some real gym dandies.
It's going to be a great opening weekend, and we're going to have that entire opening week. It's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, first week of September. Have the whole thing on Big Ten Plus. So get your subscription renewed. If you haven't done that, you let it lapse over the summertime. You want to be able to see those matches.
That's a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because there's football on Saturday, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So
a lot of midweek matches.
Yeah, there are a lot to look forward to, and
I think in Big Ten play, we don't play back-to-back nights one time. Originally, we had them scheduled,
right,
and then I think that we had some separation in almost all of them. Maybe there's one that we don't. Maybe one they're still working on.
Penn State, Iowa,
and we're working on that.
Scheduled that
we're working
way.
on that because now there's a conflict on that Friday night, which is kind of strange. That with the Big Ten match against Penn State, the national champion, that there would be a conflict, but there is. And so we got to figure out what's going to give on that one and how we're going to make that. I think we reached out to try to move the match to Thursday, but that met some resistance from our friends in Happy Valley.
Yeah.
So we don't know what's happening with that one.
Okay.
But the rest of them, though, in Big Ten play, will not be back-to-back. And I always think that's good. That's fair for your athletes.
Totally agree. Well, Dave, we're going to leave it there for now.
That's a lot. How long, man?
Looks like we're about
too long?
35 minutes. No, it's never too long.
All right.
Let me tell you.
It's a great time to talk about volleyball,
No doubt.
and we really didn't talk much about the Big Ten. That will come, I'm sure, on the next show, and get a better feel for how teams look. But I think it's going to be a lot of balance, especially after the first two. I think there's two teams that are going to be loaded for bear.
Yeah.
And then after that, man, it's going to be a meat grinder. It's going to be anybody's game from night to night.
From 3 to 18, everybody's in the stew here. Yeah. Good luck out at practice. Hope to see you out there, and we'll catch up sometime next week.
Okay, Corey. Thank you.
Pull her up.
Hammer down.